Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new Slay and Shade. If you are new to the Slay and Shade series, it is me doing a below mediocre makeup look that I'm usually going to mess up while I share my personal opinions, typically on other YouTubers or makeup brands. And I don't hate anybody. This isn't meant to bully anybody or harass anybody. I mean, the only person I really hate is Ivan Moody from the bands Moto Grader, Ghost Machine, and Five Finger Death Punch. That will be a story for another day. Today we're going to be talking about Gabi Hanna again. I haven't really spoken about her since the whole Kenza Cosmetics thing. So I'm also going to use the Sunrise palette from Natasha Denona. I'm going to use some shades I have not used yet. The plan is to go into Jasper and Morgan and do one of these. I'm not sure what we will end up with, but that is the plan. So far I went in with the Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear from L'Oreal. I also tightlined with the Maybelline Skinny Precise, as always. And I set with Creme Brulee from Wet n Wild, but I did not bring that down. And I'm going to put some powder on, and we will just get right into this because I have so much to say about this girl. Just got to take a few deep breaths. Okay, where we left off with Gabi was when she did this whole Kenza Cosmetics, some people called scam. They were brushes that if you purchased, the brushes were free, only they cost like over $10 or so in shipping, and actually could buy those same exact brushes from AliExpress for much cheaper. And Gabi went on to do a video using the brushes, talking about how she researches like all the brands that she would like promote or and do sponsorships with, and that it's not a scam and we're all peasants, because it was such a condescending video. She just wanted to make everybody feel bad. Since then, I haven't really talked about her much, and boy oh boy, have things happened. So the whole thing with, and I do have some notes here just so you know when I'm looking down, just to start to get it out of the way, I'm not really going to talk a whole lot about the Trisha Paytas stuff because they're both just nuts. Like, they are both just attention seekers. And I mean, the whole thing is that supposedly, well, Gabi did admit to doing it. Gabi told a guy that Trisha was sleeping with that she actually had herpes, that he should be careful. And apparently Trisha did not have herpes, and this created all this drama. And Gabi defended herself by saying, well, what if it was a friend of yours that you knew was having unprotected sex with somebody that you heard from a reliable source had this STD? Like, what would you guys do? So the whole thing was like under the guise of, oh, but I just really cared about my friend. And if it's not Gabi doesn't care. So I'm not buying it. Gabi could have just been like, hey, it is 2019. You should be having protected, like, safe sex, without having that added, oh, I heard she had herpes stuff, because that's just ridiculous. That turns it into like gossip, and with that whole thing, I mean, Gabi was talking about wanting some drama just a few days before this happened. It's just like I said, they're both crazy, they're both a mess, and that's not really why I even wanted to talk about Gabi. What really got me is this whole situation with her ex-friend, Jessi Smiles. I've been subbed to her for quite some time. I generally like her content, but she hasn't really uploaded a lot. And when I saw the notification for this video about Gabi, I was like, oh no, like, what is happening? So basically what happened is, and I'm going to give you guys sort of the short version, but I will link Jessi's video down below, obviously, so you can see all of the receipts. So basically, Jessi and Gabi were friends. And at one point, there was a falling out. Jessi describes a few different things going on there. Like Gabi was a manipulator between her and her friend Jen, that she was like the constant when they had their falling out, that she like pitted them against each other. Jessi was assaulted by a man, and Gabi supposedly came out in support of this man. Now, she claims that never happened. So a girl named Deanna, she's only 15 years old, and a Gabi fan or former fan had tweeted, "I remember seeing Gabi, publicly supporting this man, and that's what really got me." So Gabi ends up DMing her, and that's where this whole shit show pretty much begins. So she DMs this girl. Keep in mind that she's 15, and a fan, whatever. So she might be even just sort of like, wow, like Gabi Hanna is like messaging me. Gabi says, show me the proof. There's never been a screenshot, a tweet, a video, a photo, nothing of me ever coming out publicly supporting this guy. And Deanna, she's like, "I swear on my pap's like grave, that I remember this tweet of you saying that you stood behind him and you believed that he was innocent." Gabi continues to say that there's no proof. Show me the proof. And she couldn't show her proof. And eventually, Deanna is starting to get kind of caught up into the web of manipulation that Gabi is weaving in these DMs. She is telling her, that people that are saying this, they're just making it up. It's just something that people would like hear. So therefore, they thought that they saw a tweet. Like it's some Gabi Hanna type Mandela effect. Like it's just ridiculous. But since there was no proof, Deanna starts to kind of believe her. Now keep in mind, I believe maybe to somebody that's 15 and has like this reach that Gabi does, would be a little bit intimidated by her, because we all know what happens when Gabi puts you on blast. All of her like stands just relentlessly bully that person. So I figure Deanna, her age, knowing that if, she really says anything wrong, Gabi could publicly, say something about her, which will lead to a bunch of stans attacking her, and nobody would want that. Gabi really doesn't care, and she knows that her fans are like that, which is why when she puts people on blast, she leaves that shit up for a while until it becomes an issue. And then she's like, "Oh, I deleted it." Ridiculous. So Deanna sort of starts to like believe Gabi, and Gabi starts to send her like the dumbest screenshots or like texts, either the actual text or screenshots of texts between her and Jessi, like private messages from a while back. And her point is to prove that since Jessi asked her about if she needed any help editing, or when she asked her about housing, that this somehow proves that Jessi was like her friend and fine with her. Where I believe Jessi was just acting like a civilized adult about the situation. Because Jessi says that Gabi had told her that she was hanging out with some of her assailant's friends, and that, he happened to be there, but she wasn't hanging out with him. And she said to her, "His friends didn't rape you." Oh, my face was hot. I was seething when I heard this. I could not imagine any of my friends hanging out with my assailant's friends, because even though they may not have committed the act, they stood by him, they supported him, and it's just disgusting. And like, why would you ever say something so despicable to somebody? And we will get to Gabi's response, don't you worry. So she's trying to prove in these DMs with Deanna that, like, see, she had to get a second job, and, she just wanted me because of the views, and see, she's crazy. This is what I've been dealing with. This is a smear campaign. Like, all this craziness. And Deanna's like, well, I'm glad, to hear your side of the story and stuff like that. And she even goes as far as to tell Gabi, I can publicly take back that tweet, and say that I was just going off of emotion, like, if you want me to. And Gabi's like, well, the damage is already done, not because of you, but because of everybody else. But yeah, like, that would be great. I mean, this is how manipulative she is. And after she continues to send more private conversations between the two of them, which, by the way, why does she have these still? I mean, I have a friend, ex-friend, that we stopped being friends, I don't know, quite some time ago. I don't have any of that stuff saved. Like, why are you keeping receipts on people that you considered friends? You know what I mean? Like, why? It's just really weird. And just because Jessi, and she kind of acted like she was shaming her for having a second job, which it's like, girl, YouTube is unreliable, so she's smart about it. And her second job was editing. She reached out to a ton of influencers, Gabi being one of them, just saying, hey, this is what I'm doing now. If you need any work done, let me know. Simple as that. That doesn't mean that she wants to be best friends with Gabi. That just means like, hey, just so you know, I'm doing this if you want any work done. And Gabi had told her about some housing, like some apartments, and she asked her about that. But Gabi's sending these to Deanna, acting like these prove that Jessi's some psycho, which it doesn't. And Jessi, in her video, goes on to like compare how her and Gabi have both done story times on each other, and the difference in how Jessi would sort of start off her story talking about Gabi, and how Gabi would refer to her talking about, starting to tell a story time about her. And it was absolutely ridiculous. Like, Jessi's like, oh, I used to be friends with this person, like, I'm not anymore. But Gabi had to be like, I have had some psycho bitch moments, but this person is an actual psycho bitch. She's, emotionally unstable and all this just crap, So even after some of these conversations end between Deanna, even when she starts to change the subject, she just keeps it going, keeps it rolling, because she wants to just keep exposing her, Deanna asks her if there is a tweet that exists of this, if it was just fake. And Gabi's like, absolutely, it would be doctored, all this craziness. So eventually, I really kind of like this. It's a little, you know what? I think I'm actually going to take this azalea shade too. Maybe I can do something with this. So she continues to make Jessi look like she's a bad person. Maybe I can put this like in the center. I don't know that it's really going to show up. It's a pretty light shimmer. Oh, I can see it here. I don't know if you guys can see it there in the center of my lid. But she continues to make it out to seem like Jessi's crazy, and it's just ridiculous. Deanna, even though she's changing the subject, I mean, she's getting a vibe at this point where she's like, okay, like something doesn't really feel right here. And she ends up speaking to Jessi and sending her all of these DMs, and telling her like the story and everything like that. And at the end of Jessi's video, she had a statement from Deanna saying like, I 100% believe Jessi. I think, I remember this tweet from Gabi. It was pretty crazy to like watch this, like the conversation when Jessi's going through it. It was so weird to watch the manipulation of Deanna. Like I said, being 15 years old, being like a fan, knowing if she, she could possibly be like dragged publicly. It was so weird because Gabi really had her believing her and thinking that she should just take down that tweet and like publicly apologize. It's like craziness. And so, since there was no proof of that, Gabi goes on after Jessi's video, and she says, in her statement that she, never publicly stood up for this guy, that she would, that she never remembers saying anything like, oh, his friends didn't rape you, and that she doesn't even know in what context she would say something like that. Jessi gave us that context because you said that you were hanging out with them. That is the context. But she also includes that she was angry back then and more aggressive, and she wasn't really in a good place like she is now. That's like every YouTuber's thing. I was in a dark place. Oh, it's just so awful. But she doesn't deny it. She pretty much says, like, if I said it, it's just because I was a different person then. And she's always going on about, like, I'm so positive and I'm living my best life. And I mean, people that say that all the time, it's like they're trying to convince you and themselves that their lives are like that great. And she's always preaching about, like, oh, I know my heart. This is the L'Oreal Lash Paradise, by the way. And I know the love I have in my heart, and that I'm a good person and I'm a good friend and all this stuff. And she's always talked about therapy and things like that, but she's so quick to call somebody else mentally unstable, emotionally unstable, calling them a psychotic bitch. Like, that's just so awful, in so many ways. She's just such a hypocrite. And in her statement, I mean, she only really touches on that part of Jessi's video. Like, I don't remember saying that. If I did, it was like because of this, but there's so much more to this than that. Even the part where she's talking about Deanna, I'm going in with the e.l.f. Moonlit Pearls highlighter for something different today. And it's so much more than that. Like, why would you be having this conversation, which she said she thought that this was like a safe, space for her to have this conversation with this 15-year-old fan, showing her all of these things that she didn't ask for. It's so weird. Like, did she really think that that was going to just stay between the two of them, And there's so much more to it, because we just know from everything, just everything in general, way back to her lying about Rice Gum. Yes, Rice Gum broke her phone, but didn't punch her in the face. From that till now, we just know that she is the one that wants the drama. She talks about everybody else being clout chasers and attention seekers. And it's like, girl, that's you. That's why she feels like, oh, any type of negativity, people are just jealous. Like, they just want the attention, and I'm not going to give it to them. But she was giving that whole thing, all of that attention, for as long as that conversation was going on. This is the Smashbox contour kit here. And so she says that about other people because that's how she is. That's how she is. She is the one that wants the drama. She is the one that wants the attention, And I'm so sick and tired of hearing about how thick she is, by the way. And she talks about, like, oh, I this is why, like, I don't really go out and do stuff, and I just hang out with my man and my 3 friends and blah, blah, blah. Because those are probably the only people that can stand you, Gabi. Seriously. And she talks about, like, wanting to hang out with producers and, like, make really cool shit. That's all I want to do. I want to make some really cool shit. Broken Dolls is not it. Sorry, honey. She could do, like, a video, like a concept video where, like, she's not in it. It might make the song sound, like, less awful. But, of course, she has to be in it. I'm also going to go in with this Wet n Wild shade here. It's one of the liquid cat suits. It's one of their metallics. It's called Bali and Love, and I've just never tried it. I don't even know if it's going to match. Oh, this Gabi. Listen, I know her music's not geared towards me. It's for, like, angsty 13-year-olds. But I can still have an opinion on it because, oh, this is kind of pretty. It's kind of different. I'm just tired of hearing about how thick she is and how great her life is and how good of a person she is. It just sounds like a lot of bullshit. And, you know, she had said that a person that's really good at manipulation is really usually good at manipulation. And that's exactly how I feel about her. I feel like she's a really crappy person, and I just don't get it. I don't get how she has all these stands. You guys are going to have to let me know what you think down below about all of this. And this is the look. I'm going to finish it off with Gerard Cosmetics Slay All Day. I'm running low on it. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you feel like it. Follow me on Twitter. Gabby, you really suck. And I'll see you guys in another video soon. Love and hugs. Bye.